Good morning, children. This is Grandma Carla, and today I have a special friend with me. This is Elijah, and he is, how old, Elijah?
3.
3 years old, and he is here with Grandma Carla, and I'm going to read Elijah's favorite story, and it is about Curious George. So we're going to show you the pictures, okay? This is George. He lived in Africa. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. Because
These are yours too. In the one with the bunny.
Oh, okay. Well, let's read this one. All right. So here's a picture of Curious George. See, and later you can watch this movie, right?
But we don't have a movie about this, George.
I know. One day, George saw a man. He had on a large yellow straw hat. The man saw George too. What a nice little monkey, he thought. I would like to take him home with me. He put his hat on the ground, and of course, George was curious. He came down from the tree to look at the large yellow hat. You see the picture? Let's let them see the picture. See the picture of George looking at the large yellow hat. The hat had been on the man's head. George thought it would be nice to have the hat on his own head.
Yeah.
And so he picked it up and he put it on. Doesn't he look funny with that hat?
George can see with.
I know. There's George with the hat. The hat covered George's head. He couldn't see. The man picked him up quickly and popped him into a bag. George was caught. George was caught. Let's show the picture. George was caught in a bag. The man with the big yellow hat put George into a little boat, and a sailor rowed them both across the water to a big ship. George was sad, but he was still a little curious. See the picture? On the big ship, things began to happen. The man took off the bag. George sat on a little stool, and the man said, George, I am going to take you to a big zoo in the big city. You will like it there. Now run along and play, but don't get into trouble. George promised to be good, but it is easy for little monkeys to forget. And he's getting told all about his new life.
Show them.
I know. Show them the picture. There he's sitting there listening to the man with the yellow hat. Uh-oh. On the deck, he found some seagulls. He wondered how they could fly. He was very curious. Finally, he had to try. It looked so easy. But what's going to happen to Curious George?
He will be an eagle, then he will be a fish.
Oh, is that what he's going to do? There he is, getting ready to fly. Can monkeys fly?
I don't think so, but
No.
yes, George can.
Oh, what happened? First this, and then this. Oh my goodness, he flew and then he dove in with the fish, didn't he? Because monkeys can't fly, can they? Okay, be still so we can show the picture to everybody else, okay? He flew, but he didn't fly far. He fell into the water.
Then it would be a fish. I don't.
Where is George? The sailors looked and looked. At last they saw him struggling in the water and almost all tired out.
See the picture?
See the picture? He's so tired. They saw him in the water, thank goodness.
I don't have blood on my knees anymore.
No, you had a boo-boo on your knees, didn't you?
Mhm.
Man overboard, the sailors cried as they threw him a life belt. George caught it and held on. At last he was safe on board. They rescued George. Oh, look at all that water coming out of his mouth. He was almost waterlogged, and look, he had fish in there too. That's kind of yucky, isn't it? There's George being rescued.
Monkeys can't swallow fish or water.
I know. After that, George was more careful to be a good monkey until at last the long trip was over. George said goodbye to the kind sailors, and he and the man with the yellow hat walked off the ship onto the shore and on into the city to the man's house. See the picture? Show them the picture. See it coming off the boat onto the shore.
To the big city, to the man's house.
To the man's house. After a good meal and a good pipe, George felt very tired. Do monkeys smoke pipes? No, monkeys don't smoke pipes. But he looks like he's all ready for bed in those pajamas.
Yes.
Is he ready for bed? Are you about ready for bed? Is this your bedtime story? He crawled into bed and fell asleep at once. And there he is, so tired. He fell fast asleep. What does he have to eat? Does he have some fruit to eat as a snack sometime later?
See the picture?
Yeah, see the picture?
This is the one with blue.
The next morning, the man telephoned the zoo. George watched him. He was fascinated. Then the man went away. George was curious. He wanted to telephone too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What fun! There's George trying to use the telephone. Ding-a-ling-a-ling! George had telephoned the fire station. The firemen rushed to the telephone. Hello, hello, they said, but there was no answer. Then they looked for the signal on the big map that showed where the telephone call had come from. They didn't know it was George. They thought it was a real fire. Uh-oh. George called the fire station. Oh my goodness. Hurry, hurry, hurry. The firemen jumped onto the fire engines and onto the hook and ladders. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Everybody out of the way. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
That fireman blew a horn, but George wasn't gummy.
All right, here we go. There's all the firemen. Look how many of them going to rescue the people in the fire. But was there a fire?
No.
No, there's not a fire.
I'll show you how many. There's a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and a 8 and a 9 and a 10 and 11 and a 12 and a 13 and a 15 and a 14.
Wow, that was really good counting. The firemen rushed into the house. They opened the door. No fire, only a naughty little monkey. Oh, catch him, they cried. George tried to run away. He almost did, but he got caught on the telephone wire. And
there's two monkeys.
I know, but they're showing two pictures. This is the first picture, and this is the second picture. Okay? All right, the first picture shows the men coming in. The second picture shows what happens to poor George. He got caught in the telephone wire. A thin fireman caught one arm and a fat fireman caught the other. "You fooled the fire department," they said. "We will have to shut you up where you can't do any more harm." They took him away and shut him in a prison. Oh my goodness.
That is a bumpy one. That if David is in Goliath's yard, Goliath grows angry.
Does he look like a giant to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the picture. There's the men taking him away and putting him in a prison. Oh no, poor, curious George. George wanted to get out. He climbed up to the window to try the bars. Just then the watchman came in. He got on the wooden bed to catch George, but he was too big and heavy. The bed tipped up. The watchman fell over, and quick as lightning, George ran out through the open door.
The watchman opens the door for George.
I know. The watchman's trying to get George, and the bed tips over, and George escapes through the door. George is a smart little monkey, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He hurried through the building and out onto the roof, and then he was lucky to be a monkey. Out he walked on the telephone wires, quickly and quietly over the guard's head. George walked away. He was free. Oh, he's a smart little monkey.
See the picture?
See the pictures? Walking away on the telephone wires. Down in the street, outside the prison wall, stood the balloon man. A little girl bought a balloon for her brother, and George watched. He was curious again. He felt he must have a bright red balloon. He reached over and tried to help himself, but what happened? What is George going to do now?
All of the balloons all of the bunch is going to blow loose.
Are they going to go loose?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of one balloon, the whole bunch broke loose. In an instant, the wind whisked them all away, and with them went George, holding tight with both hands. Oh my goodness. George is just getting into trouble right and left. And George flies away with the balloons.
But I don't...
Up and up he sailed higher and higher. The houses looked like toy houses, and the people like dolls. And George was very frightened, and he held on very tight. Oh my goodness, look at George looking at all the people down below. Look at George is way up high, and the people are so small, and even the buildings look small because he's so high up. At first, the wind blew in great gusts, and then it quieted. Finally, it stopped blowing altogether. George was very tired. Down, down he went, bump, onto the top of a traffic light. Everyone was surprised. The traffic got all mixed up. George didn't know what to do, and then he heard someone call, "George!" He looked down and saw his friend, the man with the big yellow hat. His man found him, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. See the pictures?
See the pictures.
See the pictures?
George is up there on the traffic light, and his man is down there, the man with the yellow hat. calling, "George!" George was very happy. The man was happy too. George slid down the post, and the man with the big yellow hat put him under his arm. Then he paid the balloon man for all the balloons, and then George and the man climbed into the car, and at last, away they went.
Oh. See the picture?
See the pictures. The man with the yellow hat has back his monkey. He pays the man for the balloons, and off they went with all those balloons. To the zoo. What a nice place for George to live. And here's a picture. Let's show the picture first. There's a picture of George in the zoo, and he's got a balloon. And look, he gave some of his balloons to all the other animals too.
But there's not enough room for all of the animals.
A lot of them have it. Look, the rhino's got a balloon attached to his horn. And that is the end of our story. Now, Elijah, will you tell me what you just got new in your home?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a new baby brother and a new baby sister?
Mm-hmm. Named Isaac.
Isaac is your new baby brother, and your new baby sister is?
Mm-hmm.
What's your new baby sister's name?
Pineapple.
Oh, you call her Pineapple because she's so sweet. But what's her real name?
Lydia.
Lydia Hope. So this young man has become a big brother twice in the last 4 months.
Here's George washing window.
Okay, well, next time maybe we can read another one, okay? Grandma Carla's got to go. I love you, and I love all of you out there. Goodbye.